Welcome back, everybody, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Madden 20 franchise rebuild series, where it's episode 100. I can't believe it's already been 100 episodes here with the Bucs, but it's been a very fun journey. I believe we've done 12 years now in the series, and we've won 3 Super Bowls, and we've made it to 6. So we've really made it to a Super Bowl in 50% of the seasons here with this team. Well, there's news down below. I can't ignore it now. Chris Godwin has retired. I completely overlooked that possibility at the end of last episode. I saw he didn't regress and could not connect the dots that Chris Godwin has indeed retired. Where's Gabe Ventura? Oh, he's hurt. Okay. I thought for a minute maybe he retired after 4 years. I've never seen that happen. Don't think it's even possible. Anyway, episode 100, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are going to go through another offseason today, and it looks like now there are 0 remaining original players from the first year of this series. This team has now been 100% rebuilt with no player from the very beginning of the series. And as a matter of fact, Tyrus Sparks, our quarterback, the first pick in this series, is the oldest player now on our team at 32 years old. I thought because his ratings were still pretty good that Godwin wouldn't retire, but here we are now. Kendall Gabriel becomes the number 2 receiver after a very impressive postseason run. Thought he played excellent, and giving him that role back proved to be a big deal for us, I think, in the postseason. So we're going to go through this offseason as we usually do, but I want to bring up the question here. In the past, I ran the Browns series and the Cardinals series all the way up to the new edition of Madden. I think that I've moved quicker overall in this series. We're already 12 years in, obviously, and I looked back at the past series, and I think with the Cardinals, I must have played like 13, 14 years or so. So what I'm wondering, and there will be a poll on the video that you can vote on, would you like to see the Bucs rebuild end a little bit sooner than later, and maybe we begin a new rebuild, a different kind of rebuild, just for something fresh and for something to get back to building with? Because obviously the Buccaneers are a very good team in this series, and in a very down year for us, we still won the Super Bowl. So just something I want to throw out there. Obviously, if I do end the series at any time, I will do a long-term sim, so we will still see what happens with Gabe Ventura and other key players that have been added. But just let me know what you think. Should we start something new or continue things with the Bucs per usual? No matter what ends up happening here, we are going to go through this next season at least regularly, as we have done. And I think that this offseason will be a really interesting one, because I still think this team is in somewhat rough shape as far as the playmakers go. And although we made it to the postseason, obviously our road there was not the toughest. We faced some teams that dealt with injuries and then won a close game in the Super Bowl to an 8-8 Jaguars team. We have a very good defense that has become the identity of our franchise. And then Tyrus Sparks with Gabe Ventura, who behind a pretty good offensive line have made a lot happen over the years. We're going to begin here with our re-signings, and I think that one player that shined throughout the postseason and perhaps earned a second contract with us is Nathan Parson. This would be a pretty big deal, but I think with him getting to star development and playing as well as he did, it'd be tough to not re-sign him, or at least not want to re-sign him. He could always decline this. Not sure he'd be a franchise tag player. We don't have a ton of cap space, but I think that Parson is one of the players I want to re-sign. I think I'm okay letting Max Heenan go now at 29 years old. I'm probably going to let Trey Barty go as well. He had some good moments, but $30 million, I don't know if I want to go that high here at running back. 5 years, that'd be $6 million a season. We have Maxwell Butler. I think that's just too much, and I believe the price has gone up even a couple $1 million overall. I'm more so thinking about what we could do with Solomon Metcalf, perhaps as a starter this coming season. So why don't we offer him a deal? Now, he did give up some sacks in the Super Bowl, so he's not going to be the best tackle as we do sign him to a 1-year deal. But I think that he gives us at least a solid level of play, and we can focus more of our cap towards the interior of the line, which I think makes a greater difference in this game. Alright, let's see if we can get a deal done here with Nathan Parson. I will up the bonus and salary a bit because I really don't want this to be declined. 4 years, $43 million, and Parson has been re-signed. A move I did not think we'd be making, but everything changes after a dominant Super Bowl run like he put together at off-ball linebacker. To have that much impact is impressive. We'll let Heenan go. I think some want me to sign Trey Barty, but we're going to repeat what happened with Ollie Sparks and let him go. He is 25, so there is some, interest in maybe what he could become with some more time. But with normal development, I think that he's basically capped out. I also think that with our offensive line improvements, we have a better shot of developing a younger running back if we're kind of starting over. And we still have Raphael McKinley for a little while, and I think that I can trust him to be the lead back right now and maybe add somebody else to the mix. We're going to let Butler go. Rashawn Castle, just because he played so well when we watched. I know the attributes here aren't going to wow you or anything, especially after another offseason of regression, but I loved what he did too much a year ago. Oh, come on! Beyond those players, I don't think there are too many more players I wanted to re-sign. Alright, we're going to free agency with a little under $30 million in cap space. It's enough to do something with, but is there the opportunity? Jarius Lemon at off-ball linebacker, Max Heenan, Connor Patton. I don't think these positions are ones that offer enough of a difference-making factor for us. Obviously, wide receiver is something that I want to target this offseason, and there is a ton of interest in Franklin Williams here. 7 bids. Nobody else is getting much interest, but Franklin Williams is a deep threat receiver, does have good speed and deep route running with 87 catching. So perhaps an intriguing, big play wideout. However, I think teams are probably driving this contract up way too high. Oh, wow! Steven Stevens is a reunion in store with our lack of depth at the position. I will certainly offer him a 1-year contract. I think that we need to look at adding a lot of different receivers this year. Obviously, running back is also very thin. I'll take a look at that spot. We do need to add another tackle at some point, though. We have 4 out of 5 spots filled. The draft will obviously help us out. And then, where's Jerome Page? Was there another retirement and I just totally missed it? Imagine, we lose Jerome Page kind of out of nowhere and Chris Godwin. So here are some of the recent retirements. Jalen Ramsey, Nick Chubb, a lot of great players from years past. Jair Alexander, Danielle Hunter, McCaffrey. Alright, let's just check us out here. The Bucs. Godwin retired after 14. Huh. Where's Page? Not on the injury report at all. Where's Jerome Page? Oh, he's right there. Oh. Okay, I don't know why he was missing here at free safety. It's showing St. Clair as the starter, and don't do that to me, please. Free safety, not a need. Perhaps strong safety is. That was one of our weaker positions on the entire roster. We could also use another defensive tackle, but with Burgess, Seymour, and DeVoe, I'm not worried about making a huge impact at that spot. For running backs, Trent Monroe and Trey Barty have some interest. It looks like we could see Barty stay in division with the Saints. So is there a free agent we can add alongside McKinley? Looking at some of these ratings, I'm not all that impressed. Obviously, the overalls aren't that high. Raymond Thornhill's a really good pass catcher, and he's fast, but not much in terms of power, elusiveness, and ball carrier vision is very low. There may be some more chances on the trade block with somebody like Roosevelt Cruz, who would be a scheme fit at least, entering year number 4. I think at this stage, though, we'll see what the draft offers. We're going to offer a 1-year deal to Jamison Macklin, who is not yet to regression like a lot of these higher rated tackles that have like really weird ratings. For instance, if I go to left tackle here, I thought about giving an offer to Richard Martinez. But you see certain ratings just go way down like run and pass block. The finesse and power ratings are okay. I really don't know how to decipher how all these ratings work together. I really don't know what is even most important, but I don't like seeing such a disparity there. I think I just am a little more confident in a player when the ratings are tighter like this, even if nothing really stands out as tremendous. So 1-year offer, I think 281's fair. Alright, Castle, please return. Please give it another thought to come back to Tampa. I'm not really interested in this free agent class overall, though. I really want to see what we could do in the draft at spots like offensive line, maybe interior pass rusher, but most importantly, skill player on offense. We need more talent. We add Steven Stevens, Macklin, and Castle also accept offers, so that's good. Here are the top signings, though. Jarius Lemon going to the Texans. Max Heenan going out west to the Chargers on a 3-year contract. Quinnen Williams to San Francisco. Derwin James to the Raiders. Deshaun Watson, wow, going to the Cardinals. The Texans had the top bid before we simmed. Trey Barty gets the big deal from the Saints. We'll be seeing him again. Maxwell Butler, good deal here with the New York Jets. Now, because I always have weird ideas for approaching things in this game, I have stopped scouting in the Super Bowl because I figured, well, I know I'm going to lose half the points by simming, so I lose out on 100 total. However, now I get to carry over 100 that I would normally spend at Super Bowl week and instead add it to off-season when I have combine numbers. That's the whole idea there. By the Super Bowl, I don't even know what to scout anymore. So I like to just have a little extra here for when I have combine results, even though there's less players overall I can scout. It's just more to play with in the offseason. It's 5 additional players. Here we are at running back. Sean Parker, 6.7 combine grade. All right, tell me more. Still think the skill set here is intriguing. Carrying, ball carrier vision, break tackle are good. Athleticism checks out. Not bad. And he's only 21 years old and a scheme fit. So maybe a little bit overrated here as a prospect. I like to trust the talent mostly, but outside of the first round, I'm not too worried about talent grades because day 1 impact guys in this game are really just first rounders. Afterwards, find guys that have a good athletic profile, have the right traits you look for, and are younger. Don't worry too much about number grade after you get past the 70 overall tier, because they're all backups at that point. And Perry Cummings here did not have a great combine. 5.7. Oh boy! 4.57. I do not think we're going to be acquiring Perry Cummings. Just can't see it happening. How about Shaq Dubose, though? He ran 4.45. He's a power back. Carrying, trucking, stiff arm, but a little bit overrated. Still kind of interesting. Let's scout Cornell Tatum from West Virginia. He can catch the football a bit, but undrafted talent. 7.2. All right. Gotta look at these top undrafted running backs as well. Ellis Norton from Fresno State. Stiff arm, carrying, vision, really a 3rd round player. Overall, I'm not loving this running back class, and I'm not going to scout Gordon Barner because he's 23 and ran nearly a 4.6 40, so I think I'm going to save the points there. How about at wide receiver? Well, we've kind of been over this, and this receiver class is not strong at the very top, but there's going to be some players on day 2 that you gotta consider. I did find a little value later on with Dominique Hadley from Virginia, who runs good short routes, ran 4.48, so he's an intriguing slot receiver potentially. As far as the undrafted players go, not seeing a lot of big combine numbers. Irvin Bartow had one of the better grades here. I'll scout him for fun. Sometimes you got to look a little deeper at the combine numbers because you have like Gabriel Hartwell here who's really fast and that speed is valuable. It's just change of direction and the vertical and stuff are not very good. So I do want to identify at least like the speediest receivers. Fastest receiver, Matthias Upshaw from Bowling Green. I think a lot of the faster receivers are ranked lower, and the receivers that are more second, third round projection players, Josh Henderson, for example, not as much speed. 4.49 here is about as good as you're going to find at this part of the draft. I think Henderson's probably my number one guy. With the size, the archetype, which is a scheme fit, enough speed, the route running, and the release, he's a deep threat. You can do something with him. All right, what do we got for fifth-year options this year? Raphael McKinley. Absolutely not. Not picking up his option. This league could really use some skill talent, though, and the drafts are just not giving us enough lately. So it's going to be tough, I think, to fill some of these needs. Here's our picks, by the way. Nothing special. 32nd in every round. I think I'm at that stage now where I just want to try to get really creative here with some of my ideas. I want to find one of the best athletes at wide receiver and see if they could possibly have like a running back skill set. I need a high 3 cone and a good 40 to work with here. Maybe somebody like BJ Flanagan. He ran 4.43, pretty good 3 cone, probably decent hands at least for a running back. I don't know. Now, one area where this draft is strong that I think I have to be more mindful of is at tight end. It's actually a really good tight end class. Now, we have Darrell Westerman. He's early first round guy. Same with Kirkland Parnell. So, who's someone more realistic for us to take? Maybe Alex Conrad. Would 3 tight ends really go in the first round? I feel like I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm picking at 32, so I kind of have to be okay moving up if I want to address something like that. Tyrone Myers, second rounder, is more realistic for our spot. The athleticism seems okay. Speed won't be anything special with a 4.79, but he's an option as well. Brett Chandler, 22 years old, pretty good speed, but the skills need a lot of developing. Anybody remember Montre Montgomery from the Saints? I think a 1-year deal, not much guaranteed. I would be interested. He accepted a very low deal, so more receiver depth here. We'll have to see in preseason who ends up being the most productive. But we added Steven Stevens. He returns along with Montre Montgomery. So a little better depth at least. Okay, here's a good late find in the scouting. One of the last players I'll get a chance to scout. Teddy Bynes at strong safety. High hit power, high coverage, scheme fit, first round talent. What's not to love? All right, everybody, the 2031 NFL Draft is about to begin. Not sure we solved much in free agency besides adding a little depth. Although maybe Macklin could start at tackle. That just opens up some options if there's another opportunity in the first round. Like I said, I'm okay going average on tackle and stronger interior, and that's what we have right now. Without great running back and receiving options in the class, maybe this becomes kind of a BPA approach, with us not being able to really attack the offseason the way we would like. I think what's probably likely is we can go after offensive line early on. We'll see how the board falls. Let's begin the draft, everybody. Should be fun. There are a couple quarterbacks that could go early. There's one I wanted to show you quick. I didn't scout him, but Raphael Hodge ran 4.6, tore up the combine, 21 years old. Don't know if he's overrated or if he is an early first-round quarterback, but intrigued with him. And there are other quarterbacks here that could go early, although we don't typically see that happen. All right, let's sim the first handful of picks. We know we're not moving up very high if we are moving up. David Higgins, Marcus Kidd. Kidd was one of my favorite players if we had to pick from like anybody in this class. Darrell Westerman goes to the Bears here at number 4. I think that tight end would be something cool to go to more of a two tight end offense, but I just don't see the tight ends staying available. Simon Griffin is the first quarterback taken, though. Goes to Houston to replace Deshaun Watson. And there goes Kirkland Parnell. Great tight ends do not last long in this game, and the top 3 are gone in the first 9 selections, followed by Evan Marshall and Denard Prince. Leave some talent at 32, please. A 4th tight end, Alan Macklin, even goes into the first round here. He might have been projected there. Wasn't he like 3rd round talent? 4 tight ends already. 0 wide receivers have been selected, by the way. Just that kind of a draft. Reed Schneider, first receiver taken, 66 overall. One of the weakest receiver classes I have ever seen in this game. All right, looking at the available board. Where is the first player that we like here? Antoine Stevens. Yeah, safety's something we could consider. There's still Josh Henderson, who's here and is not a bad player, but not a first-round talent. Trading down might be the best move for us, no matter who's available at this stage. There's enough depth at safety. Yeah, I already know I'm not picking at 32, but I guess I could get bad trade-down offers and kind of be stuck. There goes Stevens. All right, I don't want this first-round pick. What can we do? I need 31 picks. I could pick up a 5th-round pick. Okay, Buffalo, get out of here. Anything decent. A future 4 is not decent. A current 4 and a future 6 is better, but still not great. What I think I'll do here is just find a team that wants to trade. Who seems like they're giving up the most? Maybe Philadelphia. I want to try trading with them and getting a better deal. I'd be happy just getting your 3rd-round pick even for this trade up. Let's see if they'll make it work. See, wasn't that so easy? I think I gave him a bargain too to move up that far for just the 3. Should have thrown something else in there. But now I got a little extra mid-round value to play with. And we'll see what's there. As Raphael Hodge goes to the Patriots here, top of the 2nd round. I think this might be one of the worst draft classes, period, I've seen in this game. We'll take a look at overalls when it's done, and you're not going to see many that are ready to play anytime soon. At the very least now, I have 2 2nd-round picks and 2 3rd-round picks. So a chance to add some talent to this roster. Josh Henderson is still there, and he's one of the top available players. Seems like a slam dunk pick right here. We're going to take him. Josh Henderson, one of the only wide receivers I was a big fan of in this class. Speed, size, deep route running. Could easily be the top receiver in this class, especially if we can cash in on that hidden dev. Hidden at 67. That's a really good find. That's just luck right there. I thought he was just the most intriguing from a skill set standpoint. You throw in hidden dev, makes it a lot more intriguing. Now, he does have 89 speed, so despite running 4.49, it's not like 90 or 91. And I think there is a big difference between one number when you're talking speed at this stage. I think from 89 to 92, you're talking about very different calibers of speed. But at the very least, decent hands, decent deep route running, 75 release, and a couple running back skills. But probably not enough to consider moving him to running back, especially with 85 injury. That's one you got to keep an eye on. All right, so far I think I'm doing a pretty good job in the draft. Picked up the best wide receiver, I think, in the class, and now we have another pick, bottom 2. All right, so we have a first-round talent, Harmon Mays at tackle. Quite a few second-round talents. That's pretty shocking for a class of this caliber. But I guess there were a lot of overrated players that have already been selected. Another interesting receiver would be Matthew Rush, who is just a pure route runner with 4.52 speed. But I think that with Kendall Gabriel, I kind of think that he covers that. He's also a pretty good route runner. He's not a dynamic athlete. So, not necessarily going to take Rush here or want to take a route runner in particular. I think sometime soon I have to look at these defensive tackles. We have Forrest and Jay Barber, two really underrated players that could give us a pass rush boost inside. Forrest, second round mid, Barber early 2, but Forrest is a year younger. Both are scheme fits, both have B- block shed. So you can kind of take your pick between these two players, maybe with our next selection, or is that a little too risky? If we take a look at the available board and look for players that have high grades, Barber is at 35. But there are like, almost 30 picks between now and our next pick. So always got to take that into account. So I think because I only have 2 targets right now at offensive line, I've got to go there now with a first-round talent, the best player available, Harmon Mays. He's very strong. 39 reps is awesome, and he's a pass protector. I think that's one of the most balanced skill sets you can get from this information. Pass protector archetype, good pass blocking skills, but high bench press, which equates to strength, which is a core run blocking rating. Mays is the pick, 70 overall, normal dev, and a pretty tight spread here in terms of his archetypes. I like seeing that, nothing too low. I really like this. Not bad. Reminds me a lot of the skill set I got from like Mac Hillhouse in the Broncos series, although he was a little bit better at pass blocking, a little bit worse at run blocking, but gave you that high strength as well. I like this pick. Now we just hope that either one of the defensive tackles can last to the 26th pick here, as Perry Cummings is going to Dallas. All right, he does get drafted very early after all. Matthew Rush to Kansas City at 68, so a higher overall than the receiver we took first, but the route running is the main reason for that. Jay Barber off the board. And that's a little bit earlier than I was hoping to see either one go. Barber, a 69 overall player. So, Forrest. Do we consider a trade up? Late 4 talent. But if we split the difference between mid 2 and late 4, that's somewhere like late 3-ish. If we check the available board, we don't see him come up for a while. So we're staying where we are. 46th overall player. He's gotta last another 12 picks, right? Gotta. Wow. Darren Hutton, 70. Interesting. Got a couple Falcons picks here coming up. I hope they don't take Forrest. There goes Teddy Bynes. He would have been a nice pick with our other 3rd round pick. So far, so good. We made it. All right. 2 picks here in this bottom 3 spot. And we're going Forrest. Defensive tackle. Pretty complete player. I kind of preferred him even though his talent was a little bit lower because he's 22. So that extra year to develop, I was okay with that. Forrest. Normal dev, 68 overall. 83 strength, not phenomenal, but 80 finesse moves, a lot to work with on day 1. Yeah, I think that this draft is working out fairly well for us given the players that are available, and we're not really missing on players that I really wanted to get. How's the draft board looking here? 16 players. And I should be able to draft a player with every selection because I found some undrafteds that have some upside. But here with our 2nd, 3rd round pick, I think Lester Rogers would have to be the best player available. Good zone, good hands, good awareness. I like the top 3 for him, but he'd be a number 4 corner on a team that has 2 X factors we are counting on for a long time. This sounds like a perfect chance for us to trade out because we've accomplished so much and we already acquired an extra pick and spent it. So now we can still end up making 7 picks and maybe get something for the future as well. So 2032 picks. What do we got here? 4 and a 6, a 4, a 3 and a 7. A 3 and a 7 or a 4 and a 6. This would be at 92 projected. You know what? We're going to trade with Indy. They have 80 million in cap space. Something tells me their roster's not that great if they have that much space. Alright, bottom of the 4th round. We have 4 picks to make still and 15 players on the board. So it's kind of a house rule here for Franchise Against the Computer. I limit myself to 1 trade down for future picks per draft. Otherwise, you could just stock up on like every team's 4th and 5th round selections essentially. But I think here we're going to double up at wide receiver. We're going to go Dominique Hadley here from Virginia, a slot receiver who ran 4.48. He has good short route running. Let's bring him in. Hadley, 67 overall, normal development, deep threat archetype. But I doubt we put too many resources into that deep threat to keep him there. Think he's better off in a slot role, 88 speed, 92 acceleration. Pretty good underneath. Some okay running back skills here too, so perhaps a little position flexibility. Alright, 5th round now. 3 selections left, still 12 players on the draft board. We have drafted 3 offensive players and only 1 on defense. So here might be a decent spot to target a defender. There's Niles Sparks here, 23-year-old hybrid safety with man cover skills. There are a couple edge rushers and 2 more safeties. So who do you prefer? Frederick Dexter from Missouri, zone safety, 6'1", 200 pounds, 4'6", 140. Rod Cheeks, a little bit faster. Don't know his coverage. Sparks kind of seems to be the most intriguing here. I think that's who we're going to take here with our 5th round selection. Niles Sparks, 62 overall. What do we got for zone coverage? Not great. What's that man coverage? 68. Okay. So he would need a lot of development. Oh yeah, one trick I was taught to get that hold X to reorder off. Obviously you can go to your draft board and mess with it there, but if you just hit R3 here, it goes away. So that's usually the fastest way to do it. Still thinking about those running backs though. We have Ellis Norton and we also have, oh, there was another running back on my board. He must have been drafted. That means if I want to make something happen here in the draft, I have to go Ellis Norton, a power back who ran 4.53. I haven't had much luck with power backs in this game, but he is one of the best players available. He does have good ball carrier vision. He's only 21 years old. Ellis Norton. We finally add a running back in this offseason with Hidden Dev. Here we go. This will not be Jesse Reyes Part 2. Hidden Dev running back Ellis Norton. 90 speed, 76 break tackle, 79 ball carrier vision. We're going to make this one work. And finally, who do we make Mr. Irrelevant here in the 2031 NFL Draft? We have 7 players still on the board. This is the nice part about drafting or scouting some of the undrafted talents. You end up with options, actually, that will be decent values later on. In this spot, I'm thinking we're going to go Torrey Phillips, middle linebacker. Only 22 years old, ran 4.67, plus he's very strong. He's a run stopper. Let's hope the coverage isn't too low, though. Torrey Phillips is our last pick. We'll check his ratings here in a moment. Pretty happy with the draft, though. Torrey Phillips, by the way, 60 overall, normal dev from Southern Arkansas. And the coverage is extremely low. So that's how our draft ends. Pretty happy with it overall. Got a couple difference makers, I think, in the very beginning, in the second round, actually, late 2. We get Josh Henderson from Wisconsin, hidden dev. We end up with a hidden dev running back in Ellis Norton. To get a couple lucky developments, I think, is a good situation for this class. And we shore up offensive line a little bit with Harmon Mays. But let's take a look at the class as a whole now. This was not all that strong of a class. The best player was Evan Marshall, who went 10th to the Cardinals. There were a handful of players above, say, 75. But that didn't cover a lot of different positions, it felt like. The top receiver, Darren Hutton. Okay. Hidden dev, 70 slot. 92 speed, 77 catching, 79 short route running. Not bad. That's a pretty good pick for the Giants. I think that would have been a great pick for us too. That was third round, 14th. Matthew Rush. I was intrigued by his route running, and that does end up being pretty good, but his catching ability, not very good, and neither is the release. Marcus Kidd, by the way, only had normal dev. Wow. He was one of my favorite players when I was just scouting. 77 zone coverage, 85 speed, 80 strength, 74 tackling. Interesting linebacker, but thought he'd have a better development. How about Daryl Westerman, hidden dev from South Carolina. But even the top tight ends, they don't come in with like great receiving skill sets that are fully fleshed out. You never see like high catching. You just don't see it. Kirkland Parnell, he has 80 catching. That's about as good as you're going to get there. Alex Conrad went top 10, hidden dev, 85 speed, 74 catching. Raphael Hodge, normal dev from Wisconsin, 92 throw power, 84 speed. Yeah, really good skill set here to start out with, especially in the second round. The accuracies need work, but that's going to be the case with any rookie quarterback. Definitely a good quarterback option for New England. Oh wow, Marcus Kidd ended up with the best zone coverage out of the entire class, and he plays linebacker. Wish I could have gotten Teddy Bynes. I think that was the one player that I wasn't able to get. He would have been an intriguing safety to potentially start one day. Alright, let's sign some undrafted free agents, and we're going to begin with Anton Blackburn. A nice skill set here for an undrafted tackle. 78 block shed, 77 finesse moves, certainly some great skills to work with. A 68 overall too. Here we go, wow. Gerard McLaughlin here. Good zone coverage, not great man coverage. I think he would have been the better linebacker to select. 86 speed, 75 tackle, 70 awareness. Oh, he wasn't a rookie. He's entering year 2. Okay. That's right. He had some of his XP bar filled out and everything. We are going to sign undrafted running back Nate Battle from Nebraska. He's 23 years old. He's not that fast, but he has one of the best agility scores and pretty good elusiveness to go with it. So let's see what Nate Battle can do. We're also going to sign Kelvin Tuck, who is younger. He's 21. The agility at 86 I don't think is very good. That's one of those ratings too where you can really notice a difference on a point-to-point basis. But 93 speed is pretty impressive. Let's add him to the team. We're going to sign undrafted wide receiver Dudley Hampton from Virginia Tech. 90 speed, one of the better release ratings available for young receivers at 70, but the route running needs all kinds of work. We're going to sign Cameron Ford, hidden dev, and a scheme fit here at left end, only a 59 overall. Anytime you can find hidden dev though as an undrafted player, gotta be at least intrigued. I also had Jimmy Fitzpatrick on the draft board. Didn't draft him, we'll sign him as an undrafted player instead. We're going to bring in Raheem Ramsey at cornerback. He's a scheme fit. Really trying to prioritize that here with some of these undrafted signings. And I think our last signing here is going to be Timmy Bird from Montana. 88 speed, 67 zone coverage. All right, preseason's over, and I noticed there was one injury. I haven't seen it yet. Solomon Metcalf, torn ACL. Well, I think that means our rookie tackle is going to be starting on day one. Wow. 43-week injury, just like that. All right, how we do this preseason then? 4 touchdowns for Tyrus Sparks, 4 and 4 for Tavita Banks. Obviously, we really miss William Lindsley. It was so much fun. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Is there a chance on this earth he's starting? No, I don't think so. For the running game, McKinley averaged 3.6 a carry, 3.2 for Ellis Norton, who got a ton of chances to play here in the preseason. He already earned 1 upgrade and is set to get another very shortly. We're going to go elusive back here. That makes him a scheme fit, so we'll get a little faster experience, get some juke and some spin there. It's not really his game, but I wanted a little bit more than he had here to start out with. Gabe Ventura, leading receiver through the preseason. Dominique Hadley, 17 for 177. Wow, I wanted to make sure that he got chances, that we also got Henderson some chances, who only had 1 catch all preseason, a very slow start. I didn't have Steven Stevens play here in the preseason. We already know him pretty well, and he's a veteran. So Hadley really had a good time here with 17 for 177. A touchdown for Jaleel Blake, 3 for Kendall Gabriel. For the blocking, 2 sacks allowed for Jamison Macklin. Harmon Mays will now start at left tackle on day 1. Nathan Parson, 27 tackles. How about sacks? Rashawn Castle. Oh boy, he's still going to play at a high level. 4 sacks. Burgess had 2. Parson 1.5. Timmy Bird, 10 tackles, a sack, and 2 picks. I gave him some playing time in the preseason, and he made the most of it. Carter Gilbert, 5 of 6 on field goals, 9 of 11 on extra points. 1 was blocked, so not a phenomenal preseason for him. Josh Henderson had a very slow preseason, didn't get to see much production out of him. We can work on route running, we can work on catching. Perhaps slot gives us a little bit of all those things. So 68 overall now, soon to upgrade again, get that short route running increased by 3. After making roster cuts, we actually only have 49 players, so I'm going to sign a 3rd quarterback now, Leonard Witherspoon, who is a veteran from Auburn. He has 80 speed to go with 83 throw power and a couple decent accuracy ratings. Wouldn't be a bad 3rd quarterback to have on the team. The best running back available is Sidney Oliver at 69 overall, and we only have 2 on the roster right now. So we could sign him or look to make a trade. We're going to sign tight end LaMarcus Streets, who's 25 years old, 78 speed, but 82 catching. Might be a better 3rd tight end for us. And I think Ken Hughes at 72 overall, I mean, let's add him to the roster as well. I want to have the roster filled out because every player there is going to get development. So, don't want to leave any open roster spots. Roosevelt Cruz might not be a bad addition, but what would it take to acquire him? That's the problem. I don't want to give up a lot of draft capital or anything. I'd be interested in like a 6th or 7th round pick to add a running back, and I don't see that working. I could see them liking Kai Howard here, but I don't think that would be a very good trade for us. So they have some interest, it looks like, in Rocco Ship. What if I throw in a 7th round pick? Can we get a deal done to end the episode? That works. Rocco Ship and a 7th round pick for Roosevelt Cruz. So a bit more running back depth, and that gives us 3. Gotta have at least 3 on the roster. Although I am kind of intrigued by Norton and this hidden dev. I want to try getting him some early opportunities. I just gotta see if we can have more success behind this offensive line. So we'll see next episode how I handle this backfield situation. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And don't forget to vote in the poll. Would you like to see me just continue this series normally? At the very least, I'm going to go through this season like I have all the others. But would you like to see perhaps a new franchise take over for a little while? Something fresh, something different. It wouldn't just be a normal rebuild like this. I would obviously put some sort of spin on it and make it a little bit different. But if you'd like to see something else, let me know. And I will see you all next time. Thank you again, and have a great day, everybody.